Okay, so here's a quick short video of how you handle doing standard form with word terms that help you with the measurement. Now we've already done A, and the way to do it is do your standard form for your normal number, let's say 6,816, and you turn it to the exact one that you're seeing up there. Let me get my highlighter. 6,000 becomes 6.816 times 10 power 3. And then you do the same thing, but now it's for the word expression. It's called centi. So if you recall centi, it's divide 100 for meters, yeah, centimeters to meters. So actually it's 10 power negative 2. And then lastly, you use your understanding from chapter 1, because they're both times 10, you add the powers together. And 3 plus negative 2 is merely 1. So that's how we answered for A. Now we're going to proceed to B. So B says 164 gigahertz. Now let's start first. 164. Kenneth, what is 164 in standard form? What's 164 in standard form?
1.654.
1.64 times 10 power
2.
power 2. Okay. And then we have to see the word. It says giga. So how much is the giga? Giga is 10 power. So for those who have memorized, it's just 10 power 12. For those who have not, I've sent a web picture of what tera is. So you can see from here. So they increase in orders of 3. So kilo is 3, mega is 6, giga is 9, and then it's 12. So then what you do is you check the powers here. So this is 10 power 2 times 10 power 12. You get 1.64 times 10 power 2 plus 12. What is 2 plus 12, Kenneth?
14.
Brilliant. So it's 1.64 times 10 power 14. And you are done with question B. So now we're going to proceed with C. I'm going to draw and write the answer up above the screen because I'm lacking space. So now we have a question of 0.00374 nanometers. Right? Now let's turn the number component into standard form first. What would this become, Kenneth?
3.74.
3.74 times 10 power
3. 4. Negative 4. Negative 3.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, negative 3. And then we're going to multiply with nano. Nano is 10 power how much?
Negative 9.
Very good. 10 power negative 9. So you could just kindly see your notes there. It's a negative 9 there. Lastly, you want to multiply the two tens together. So multiplication would mean adding the powers. Negative 3 plus negative 9. Do you know what's the answer, Kenneth?
12.
Negative 12. Okay. So that concludes question C, and we can now proceed with question D. All right. D is in terms of time. So can you give me the standard form for 0.00021?
2.1.
Very good.
10 negative 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Brilliant. I'm so proud that you said that. And now we're going to head into Pico. So we did beautifully. Why are you so good with Picos?
I'm
Okay. So here we're going to multiply the base numbers powers together. And what is negative 4 plus negative 12?
16.
Okay, great. Now I think it's time to write your answers down so you can catch up the questions. Hi everyone, welcome to the last example that we're going to do for today, which is page 27. And this is in our example 9. So, Kenneth, could you kindly read the question for your friends to hear?
Calculate the value of
each of the following operations. You have to state your answer in standard form.
Okay, so now we're going to do a mathematical operation question. We're going to plus and minus standard form. The key thing is you want to make both of them the same power. As long as the power is the same, it's very easy for us to calculate. So A is an easy approach, 10 power 4 and 10 power 4. What we do here is we will factorize the 10 power 4 out and we just add the numbers in front as usual. So 3.5 plus 2.9 is 6.4. Okay, that is it. So, ta-da, straightforward. The questions normally have different powers though. So let's look at B. Let's look at the differing power. So we've got 10 power 2 and 10 power 3. So you normally try to make the powers equal to the lower number. That's one way you can do it. So we've got 10 power 2 and 10 power 3. So the lower number between 3 and 2 is 2. So what we're going to do here is that you're going to separate these into two parts, 10 power 1 and 10 power 2. Okay. So then what's going to happen next is that you take the 10 power 1 to multiply with your number in front, which is 5.27. You get a 52.7. After that, you just factorize that 10 power 2 out. Then it's not just a simple plus or addition of two numbers, which gives us 58.71. Okay. Now up to here, remember this topic. What's the name of this topic? It's standard form. So for standard form question, at the very last step, you have to make sure that the decimal is only after the first digit. So in this case, it's after the second. So you bring it by 1, change it back to standard form, and then ta-da, you get your final answer. Okay. So there are a few ways you could try this, but this is one of the options. Your school teacher may introduce you other options. So don't worry, it's quite easy to do. Next one, we have a 10 power negative 4 and negative 3. So this case is a minus. There's something written wrongly here. So what we're trying to do is that, 3 is smaller than 4. So then you split the negative 4 into a negative 1 times negative 3 component. Now, once you reach this here, both of them will become negative 3. You can press the calculator for the first point here to see the answer of your decimal if you're not too sure about it. So in this case here, we're just going to factorize the 10 power negative 3, and we will end up with 0.58 minus 0.14. Here it's a very simple deduction, that's 0.44. And as usual, you want to change it back to standard form. So make sure you change the 0.44 into a 4.4. And these are the necessary powers. And then you get the final answer here. Now let's go to D. Let's do D as well. We're going to use the same approach here. So negative 6, we're going to split it into negative 1 and negative 5. So this matches. You can use the calculator just to calculate the numerical part for the 4.76. When you multiply it, you get an easy 0.476. Bring out the 10 power negative 5. So you just minus the numbers in front of them. Ta-da! For donkey, because the answer is already in standard form, meaning to say that the decimal is after the first digit. So there is no need for any additional steps. Okay. And we have made it through the example 9. Now we're going to try practice now 9. I need Kenneth to read the question. Calculate.
Calculate the value of each of the following operations. State your answer in standard form.
All right, so we're going to answer the first one. Now I'm going to give myself a white canvas to work with. Give me a second. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to try is A. It says 2.3 times 10 power 6 plus 5.41 times 10 power 7. So it's very simple. I'll take 7 and break it out into two smaller chunks. 10 power 1, 10 power 6. That's how you get that. Right? Now, the first part here, there is no change for the first part. But here, what is 5.41 times 10? 5.41 times
54.
Beautiful. It turns into a 54.1 times 10 power 6. So at this juncture, you notice that they both possess this 10 power 6 here, which we can easily factorize it out to proceed with our mathematical calculation. All right. Then here you just press your calculator, you get it's 56.4 times 10 power 6. And for the very last step, you have to ensure that your answers is in line with the standard form. So I need to just move the decimal by 1. So 5.64 times 10 power 6. This will give us 5.64 times 10 power 7. Okay, I'll give you guys some time to write the answer. We will now be proceeding to question B. So if you use the same logic as we've been using so far, thus far, and so for B, I have two numbers here. Got 8.23 times 10 power 3. Got 6.4 times 10 power 4. Okay, so bring that down to the lower number. So I'm going to change 4 into a 1 times 3. Okay. All right, so let's multiply these together. What's 6.4 times 10? 6.4 times 10. Look at the screen first. Then 6.4 times 10. 64. I'll give you time to write. You write later first. Okay, so why did I write a wrong number? So finally, we have both of them having the same numbers. Then you can just write the numbers and add them directly while factorizing the 10 power 3 out. Then here, you will have 72.23 times 10 power 3. So again, we want to change this to a standard form number. I need to move this in by one more. So 7.223 times 10. Okay, and if you add 1 and 3, you get 4. All right, you may proceed. Now we move on to question C. So here the only difference is these are negative powers, but it is also very manageable. 6.96 10 power negative 4 minus 3.69 times 10 power negative 5. So 5, we will change the 5 into a 4. Let's do the separation work. 3.69 times 10 power negative 1 and negative 4. So these two adds back up to 5. So that's how you do the split. Here we can use a calculator. So what happened when you do 3.69 times 10 power negative 1?
0.36.
Very good. 0.369. Brilliant. 10 power negative 4. So we have two things with 10 power negative 4. All we have to do is factorize that out. And that leaves us just deducting the decimals. So you can use your calculator to press this number to find the answer. It's just merely 6.791. No, not 7. Wait. 6591. Okay, could you please check that in the calculator? Okay, beautiful. All right. And tada, you're done with C. Okay, please write the answer. All right, now we proceed with question D. So question D, it's a negative power. Just take note that the power is negative. So you've got 4.12 times 10 power negative 2 minus 1.8 times 10 power negative 3. All right. And this would give us, so we'll split 3 into 2, 1 or 1, 2, whichever way you imagine it to be. So 10 power negative 1 times 10 power negative 2. All right, let's do this. 1.8 times 10 power negative 1. 1.8. Yeah, 0.18. Lovely. All right. And then you can just factorize the power 10 negative 2 out. Oh, why did I put a times there? Clumsy me. Silly me. Okay, it's a deduct here. What is 4.12 deduct minus 4.18? Get 3.92. I don't actually need this bracket here. Oh, do you? Are you laughing at me, Ken? Times 10 power negative 2. And because the front digit is in standard form, ta-da, that's your final step. You may proceed to write this down. We shall now proceed with example 10. So we've done an addition and a deduction of the standard form, and we know that you need to factorize the same powers. Now for the next one, they ask us to calculate each of the following operations, state your answer in standard form. This is a multiplication and division. And the difference between multiplication and division, there's no factorizing. Just multiply the same base numbers together and the normal numbers together. And when you do your division, it's the same understanding. Now let's look at the example and let's see how they resolve it. So for the first one, you have this and this, okay? So see how they categorize them? They take the number to multiply with the number, okay? So they put them in one bracket. And because this is the same base, so Sean always remember, just only write the powers. You take the power plus the power. Then here you may use your calculator. And then please just move it by 1 and change it back to standard form. And do the same trick again, where you go and add these two numbers together. Now for part B, also the same thing, group the numbers together, multiply them, whereas the powers, put them together and add the powers together. So in this case, you don't need to do any additional step, it's already in standard form. Next is our C, this is a division. Division is the same thing, whereby you take the first number, divide with the second number. As for the 10, you take the power negative 9. Division is a minus, so you minus negative 2. Okay, so now you just get some numbers here that you press in the calculator. D is just a repeat of this. So always just take the two numbers and divide them. Don't worry about the multiply in the middle. Whereas the 10 and 10, you put the powers together, a division is just minusing the power. So you just minus each power to get the answer. If it's now in standard form, change the number to standard form first and multiply it with the extra one. So here we're going to practice, now we're going to practice 10 together. So let's start with practice now A. We've got the numbers here. 8.5 times 10 power 5. Divide, everything's a division here. Why is everything division? Why not multiply? Okay, divide. So you just write the numbers with numbers first in a bracket. 8.5 divided by 2.5. That's the first step. And then the power, you write this power first, 10 power 5. Divide means minus 3. Then you put 3. Okay, so press in your calculator, what's 8.5 divided by 2.5? 3,000. So you get a 3.4. And then what is 5 minus 3?
2.
So ta-da, you're finished with A. Now let's do B as well. So B is 9.13 times 10 power 6 divided by 1.1 times 10 power 2. Okay. Use the same pattern, 9.13 divide by 1.1. And then you start with the power again, 10 power 6 divide minus 2. Okay. Now, can you give me the answer for the second one? 9.13 divided by 1.1. What do I get?
8.209.
8.209. And 6 minus 2 is 4. All right. You're going to write your answers down first, guys. Now we're going to do C and D. We're proceeding. So for C, oh, yes. 6.56 times 10 power negative 2 divided by 1.6 times 10 power negative 8. Same pattern, get the numbers out first, 6.56 divided by 1.6. Put the powers together, write exactly what you see at the first part, times 10 power negative 2. Divide means you minus, the next power is negative 8. Okay, what is 6.56 divided by 1.6? The answer.
Of 0.1.
4.1. Okay, as for the power, what is negative 2 minus negative 8?
10.
No,
Or negative 10.
no.
Huh?
Minus negative become plus.
Or,
Negative 2 plus 8.
or 6.
Yeah, so 6. All right, then we go for D. So 8.88 divided by 1.2 times 10 power negative 4, that's what you've seen at the start, minus negative 3. Okay. Kenneth, what's 8.88 divided by 1.2?
7.4.
7.4. Okay, now what's negative 4 minus negative 3?
1.
Negative 1. Okay, and that concludes practice now 10. Now, the very last question we will deal with for this chapter is a written word question, and we need to be able to change them using some units understanding into standard forms. So let's read example 11. Kenneth, read example 11.
Given the volume of a cube is 1,520 liters and the volume of a cube is 1.2 times 10 to the power of 8 milliliters. Calculate the total volume in liters of the 3 cubes and 4 cuboids. Give your answer in a standard form. Two significant numbers.
So let's see what we do here first. Now you have the volume of 1 cube and the volume of 1 cuboid. Then you know you have 3 cubes, so they say 3 times cubes, 4 times cuboid. Now the cube is 3, and you've got the volume here, 2,520. Whereas the cuboid is this amount, however, it's in a milliliter. So then the last step is you need to change milli into 10 power something. Milli is just 10 power negative 3. Then here, what they do is you multiply here, you get an answer there. You multiply here, you get an answer here. Okay, so the next step is they're just writing whatever we have in standard form. So this is 7.560 times 10 power 3. This is 4.8 times 10 power 5. Next step, you want to make both the powers equal to each other. So you take the 5 and split it into 2 and 3. Here, you can press your calculator. When you multiply, you get 480. And then you factorize out the 10 power 3. So you've got a bunch of numbers here, and this is just adding them up. It's a pretty easy one. So after you add them up, you get the answer times 10 power 3. Take this and convert it back to standard form. 4.876 times 10 power 2. Okay. Last step is you times these two power will add together power 5. All right. Then they want it in two significant figures. Two significant figures. So then you just change this into two significant figures. So round it up to 4.9. So that's the example 11. I will try to use the last time to do the practice now 11. So it says that the sun is approximately a sphere of radius 696,340 kilometers. The surface area of sphere is given by the formula A equals to 4 pi r cubed, 4 pi r squared. Calculate the surface area of the sun in meters. Give your answers in standard form, correct to 3 significant figures. Here, let's go and do the math. The calculator will do a lot of your work for you, so don't panic. Now, they just want you to find the surface area, and the formula is provided. So pi is 3.142. Now the distance is 696,340, but it's kilometers. They want it in meters. So kilo is how many? 10 power 3. And then this is square. Okay. Now I just want you to press the whole thing into the calculator. The calculator will give you the answer. Yes. So they wanted 3 significant figures. You get 6.09 times 10 power 18. Okay. This is as far as we will do for today. Next week onwards, we will just finish up all the exercises. After that, we're going to chapter 3. So I hope you've enjoyed the recording. Do join us again next week for a fun time of who's digging my nose? No, just kidding.